The year is 26-1 BCE, and the eastern coast of the Indian subcontinent holds one of the region's most prosperous independent societies, the Kingdom of Kalinga. Benefiting from a massive coastline along the Bay of Bengal, Kalinga built a lucrative maritime network. Its ports hummed with merchant ships moving goods across Southeast Asia, funding a rich, diverse cultural landscape back home. But to the west, inside the grand palaces of the Mauryan Empire, Emperor Ashoka was studying maps of that exact coastline. Ashoka commanded a military machine that had already swallowed almost the entire Indian subcontinent. Kalinga was the final independent holdout. For a ruler seeking absolute territorial dominance, a wealthy, unconquered neighbor sitting right on the eastern trade routes was an unacceptable geographic gap. The order for an invasion was drawn up. The Mauryan mobilization was staggering. Tens of thousands of infantry, cavalry, and massive armored war elephants pushed eastward like a moving storm front. When they hit the Kalingan borders, they met a unified defense. Kalingan warriors fought to hold their homeland, meeting the momentum of the Mauryan charge head-on under a barrage of incoming arrows. The battlefield dissolved into close-quarters combat. Bronze swords clashed through thick clouds of dust, the constant thud of war drums masking the sounds of the dying as the landscape itself was trampled into mud. Ashoka's forces eventually broke the resistance, securing a total military victory. But as the fighting ended, the scale of the carnage began to strain the very ideological foundation of his empire. When the noise of combat finally stopped, a chilling silence fell over the winding banks of the Daya River. Historical records describe a staggering human cost: 100,000 dead, and thousands more displaced. Grieving families wandered through miles of broken chariots and fallen bodies. Walking alone through the still smoking ruins, Emperor Ashoka confronted the direct physical result of his orders. Looking at the bodies of 100,000 people, the strategic value of the coastline vanished. To Ashoka, a victory that required the erasure of a society was no longer different from a defeat. Instead of holding a triumphal march or celebrating with his generals, Ashoka turned away. He needed a way to process a deep, crippling sense of guilt. He found shelter among Buddhist monks beneath the sprawling canopy of the sacred Bodhi tree, and there the emperor officially laid down his sword. He adopted the concept of Dharma, an ethical framework built on peace, nonviolence, and compassion for all living beings. At the peak of his military strength, commanding the largest army on the continent, he permanently renounced warfare as a tool of the state. To ensure his remorse outlived him, Ashoka carved his new laws directly into the earth. As we can see in this close-up of ancient Brahmi script carved into sheer rock, he mandated a policy of nonviolence across his empire. He then launched an immense architectural campaign. He constructed monuments like the Great Stupa at Sanchi, creating physical gathering spaces dedicated to the teachings of Dharma. To reach the millions of citizens in his territory, he erected towering stone pillars. These served as an ancient broadcast network, projecting his messages of tolerance over public squares and trade routes. Atop these pillars sat a specific symbol, 4 lions facing outward. They represented Dharma spreading worldwide. This iconography proved so potent that centuries later, those same lions became the official emblem of the modern Republic of India. The leader who ordered the subcontinent's most brutal massacre ultimately engineered its most enduring blueprint for peace.